wish people wouldn't be scared of me.
Here are folks, see the wonders of the moon, only 10 cents. Here are folks, see the wonders of the moon, only 10 cents.
May I have a look, mister?
Sure, Sonny. Step right. Huh? A ghost!
Gee, the man in the moon looks friendly. Golly, I'll go up and visit him. Gosh, there's no man in the moon. Nothing but rocks and holes. Oh, I'm tired.
He's a giant.
He's a monster.
Let's capture him for the king.
Golly, moon people. They're real cute. I wonder what they're gonna do with me.
His Celestial Majesty, the ruler of the moon, King Luna.
Who be you, monster? And from whence comest thou?
Your Majesty, I'm Casper, the friendly ghost, and I come from the planet Earth.
Bah! The planet Earth. A likely story if ever I heard one.
But King Luna, I do want to be friendly.
The monster's got me! Guards! Guards! Put the monster in the royal dungeon!
Gee, even the moon people are afraid of me.
The tree men are attacking! The tree men are attacking!
To the walls! Defend the city! of my people, I knight thee, Sir Friend Casper.
Casper, the friendly ghost, the friendliest ghost you know. So grown-ups might look at him with fright, the children all love him so. Casper, the friendly ghost, he wouldn't be bad or mean.
All right, everybody, we are live. We got to enjoy a little cartoon before the show, as they did in the olden days of cinema. That was Casper the Friendly Ghost, Boo Moon from 1954. It was, by all accounts, the second cartoon that was produced in 3D. And the first one was a Popeye one. Let me make sure I get the name right. The first one, Popeye, the Ace of Space. So there you go, a little cartoon fun. With me today is Mad Matt. How are you, Matt?
Hello, we're doing good.
All right. All right. Welcome, one and all, to our Legend Watch Party. This is the second week in a row that we get to see Tom Cruise grace our presence. This is one of his first acting roles, acting performances, movie roles. And this will be a very interesting one. I'm not afraid of spoilers or giving anything away because it has been 40 some odd years. So that will be a treat for you all, I'm hoping.
Yeah, I know.
All right, Matt, go ahead.
Yeah, we're seeing. Yeah, Tom Cruise has, of course, done a few things. I think Risky Business came out before this, but according to that this is Mia Sara's first film, and she's more recognizable from Ferris Bueller, which comes out 1 year after this.
Yes, and I think Top Gun comes out a year after this as well. That's when they both kind of hit it big. What a difference Tom Cruise will look if you compare him in this role to his role from the next year in Top Gun. What a difference.
Yeah, the trivia did say that we are going to see his naturally long hair. There's no wig.
Oh, no wig. Well, he gets it all chopped off for Top Gun. All right. Well, we are watching the theatrical version, which is just under an hour and a half. We should be synced up at the Universal and MCA company logo. So without further ado, why don't you give us a countdown, Matt, and we will begin.
Okay, beginning our legendary journey in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play.
Okay. All right, let's do a shout out. We got a full house today, guys. All right, over here in YouTube, we have GH Zoner, we have Eric, Miss Swift.
Miss Swift. Yeah, if Miss Swift's saying you've got the 2 hour, you've got the director's cut.
Oh, that will be interesting, Miss Swift, because I know they added a bunch of extra material. GH, you also have the director's cut. Well, hey, we can make do.
Yep.
You're just going to have a lot of the extra scenes.
Yeah, unless you guys all have the European theatrical cut, because that's also a different one.
We'll get into the discussion. I'm not surprised it has these multi editions, but yet I am surprised. My take on this movie might be a little different than your guys's, but it's going to be a fun watch nonetheless.
My
Johnny
first,
Devitt is here too. Go ahead.
yeah, my first time I saw this movie is I got to see a advanced test screening. So
Ooh.
I'm sure I didn't see any of the released versions of the movie because I don't have much recollection of what we saw there, but we watched the movie and then we had to fill out little comment cards, and I kind of remember seeing a lot of unfinished effects and a lot of cast members, especially a lot of the animal trainers could be seen. So that was kind of my notes, is like, yeah, get rid of all the crew members and the animal trainers, hide them better.
Yeah. Well, isn't that it goes that you have the like a screener edition, you have not final edition, and they get everybody's feedback. Of course, it's not completed. So there you go. Yeah, did I get a shout out to everybody that was here? I feel like I
Yep.
did. Calbot, welcome, Calbot. Calbot's never seen this. Going in completely cold. I need to plan my weekends better. You know, going in cold for this movie, I don't think you're not going to miss much from those of us that have seen it before. Yeah, we're still going to have a lot of fun with this.
Yeah, I was just
Oh,
saying,
Johnny Devitt, can we see the one with the burnt down set? Yeah, the set burnt down. I think the last days of filming, was it? The last week or so of filming.
yeah, I think
And
I think they had to shut down production twice. And the
yeah,
one was the studio fire, and I think yeah, it was Tom Cruise's father had passed away. I think that was the other.
yeah, and the fire that destroyed it was a pretty major fire. No one was hurt though. I think it was, from what I read, it was like an overnight. Everything was shut down. No cast and crew were there, and then they just kind of had to scramble to finish it, which they did, obviously. Yes, Miss Swift, effects by the legendary Rob Bottin. Yes, and directed by Ridley Scott. Ridley
Yeah,
Scott became attached to it, and he brought in Rob Bottin.
but I like seeing this opening scene here where we first see the darkness. Is he looks tired and bored. So I almost, when I watched that scene, I was hearing Flash Gordon with Ming the Merciless just saying, "Clytus, I'm bored."
Yes, because if you've seen some of the behind the scenes, or if you're familiar with this movie, you know that Darkness himself, he's bright red, but now they're casting him in that dark glow. We're not seeing him full on just yet. We're seeing him in darkness. All right, well, over there in Discord, who do we have today? I know, Matt, you've been over there commenting quite a bit, giving us
Yep. But
some history on the actor.
once I go live, I can't play around with my computer, so I had to get my homework posted early.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, yes. Billy Barty, you're going to see Billy Barty coming up. And his voice alone, we're going to be able to recognize him.
Billy Barty, I was looking there too, looking up his bio, and I was like, because he was all throughout my childhood. So many things I've watched with Billy Barty. But then I was just looking, if he was still alive today, he'd be 102.
He has been such a prolific actor. I know his size obviously gave him those type of roles, but it's his voice as well. Undeniable. All right. Well, Mr. Furzel, I see you over there in Discord. Mr. Furzel is saying almost like a first watch for me, because the last time I tried to watch this from start to finish, I was in the middle of a liaison with a friend, so was not watching much of it. So this would be your first time. We got Sith Sister. Hey, welcome, Sith Sister. Haven't watched this in a long time, so there you go. So it's almost like a first watch for a lot of us. Um, Rob Bottin was specifically brought in for Darkness's makeup and practical effects. What we're going to see is, because this is it's a genre full of fantasy and lore, you're going to see a lot of the makeup effects, a lot of characters that have practical effects applied. None are digital that I'm aware of. This was before that really took hold. Oh gosh, what else? What else could I tell you right off the bat? Well, we're just kind of setting up the story. We see Mia Sara, and we're seeing a very young Tom Cruise. So she's playing Lily, he plays Jack, and they're the antithesis of what darkness is. Yeah, and we're just gonna. Yeah, GH, dang, Mia's kind of a jerk. You have no idea. No
But I also,
idea.
yeah, there's also, I like how they couldn't decide how to spell her name, and her character Lily said when you read the opening narration, it's Lily, and when you read the credits, it's Lili. So
Well, they probably never had someone spell check. This does rely heavily on practical effects. I was also reading that a lot of the set design here, they were looking for a real forest. They had been scouting a lot of the Yosemite and Sequoia National Park locations in California, but I don't think anything hit them right. So this scene, this set, is actually filmed in Pinewood. So we've just got practical effects all over the place and a fun fantasy movie. It is interesting, though, that a lot of the music here, most of the music, all of the music is by Tangerine Dream. It almost drowns out the movie. In a bad way, not in a bad way, that's up for debate. So as you guys watch it, it's very clear to me that they had to have a Foley artist, multi-Foley artist, to put in this sound design after the fact, because a lot of this is just relying heavily on the soundtrack, which takes away the sounds in the scene. So the sounds in the scene a lot of times are done by the Foley artist. As a observant movie watcher, these are the things I notice. Might not be a big deal. So, all right. So we've got a couple of you that are going to be coming in cold, haven't seen it before. How many of you have seen this multiple times? How many have seen it in the theater? And it actually did make it big in the rental market afterwards. I don't remember this being a big box office draw. It does have, it might be considered a cult movie now, but at the time, I don't think it was. This movie has a lot of flaws.
I was going to say, I think as far as cult status, about the only thing I see referenced and people talking about is just like the last 20 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, when we focus on Tim Curry as Darkness, that's all anybody wants to see out of this movie.
Yeah, he's the one when we talk about this movie, his name always comes up because of the extent of the makeup. I have never seen, what's a good word for it? At this time in, 84, 85, 86, so much time and effort and budget put into one effect. Because he really is, if they had missed the mark on him, I think the whole movie would have been lost. But you hit the mark with the bad guy in a movie like this, and you can kind of skate on the rest of the movie. Yeah, Mr. Furzel, interesting. The sets seem rather layered. Know what I mean? Like foreground, midground, and background. Yes. Yeah, it seems very layered.
I was like this opening scene with the Mia with Lily and Jack making out, going, it's like if we go a little bit further, she's going to lose her innocence, and the whole movie's just going to be over.
Yeah, they're not acting so innocent, are they? Yeah, and I think we're supposed to think it's like, oh, it's puppy love, it's first love. But they're supposed to be representing the pure innocence. But yeah, I mean, a few more minutes and they wouldn't have been innocent. Oops. All right, let's turn that off. Okay, Calbot, yes. Sigmund and the Sea Monsters. I think that's what that show was, and I think Matt, you had referenced that too. That is Billy Barty in that Sea Monster. Sigmund and the Sea Monsters. Is that right?
That's Sigmund. Yep, he's Sigmund. Billy Barty.
Yep. That was a kids show. I think it was Saturday mornings, early '60s.
Yep, that's Johnny Whitaker, who was famous for Family Affair.
Yep.
The TV show. Yep, all the Sid and Marty Krofft shows. Kyle just completely raised off of those shows.
Yep. Remember that the glory days of Saturday mornings. Miss Swift is saying it's the start of Tom Cruise doing his own stunts. And that is his real hair, apparently. Thank you, Matt.
Yep. I think as far as stunts go, all I see in this is just like, how much man spreading Tom Cruise is doing here. He's always squatting, which I can respect as a stunt because it's something I can never do and get up again.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and this is his younger days. I was going to say glory days, but he's never stopped doing his own stunts, and he's still doing it. So his glory days, I mean, what? He's still doing it. All right, so we have the magical unicorns, which I guess in this realm are, what would they represent? The light, the life, the pureness of everything. And this head goblin is called Blix. And he's got an extensive, makeup routine as well. Nothing like what Tim Curry had to go through, because Tim Curry was head to toe, and they said not an inch of his skin was showing. I don't know about that. We can discuss what you guys think later on in the movie when we actually get to see him and get close up of his face. Yeah, but that's later on. Yeah, she's got a little devilish streak in her.
Yeah, we're not getting like the full story, because it seems she's with, earlier when she's in the cottage with Nell, they kind of discuss that somehow she's royalty, maybe she's a princess, but we don't get anything of what her status is in the world.
Yeah, and she's got the hots for Jack. And he is supposed to be the only one that can what? Approach these unicorns, or have any dealings with them. And yeah, she's all right. But if she didn't do this, then we wouldn't have a movie.
Yeah. Yeah, and
Um,
there's also not clear. They don't define like all the forest creatures, so we're not sure, what Jack is. He's not supposed to be a human, but he doesn't belong to any other, he doesn't have pointed ears, he doesn't have, so it's just another, here you go, enjoy the
yeah.
story.
Yeah, and so in this lore, in order for darkness, of course, he wants to reign supreme, right, above all else. So he's got to destroy the unicorns because they would represent the balance, the light and the dark kind of thing. But she is being very naughty right now. And I think because of her actions, it allows Blix to get too close to the unicorns now. Eric is saying it's so funny because unicorns in myth are not friendly. They are very aggressive, or dangerous and aggressive. Well, Miss Swift is saying ugly one-horned mules.
Yep.
In order to make these unicorn horns stick, it had to be some kind of band that was put around the unicorn's head. Obviously, they didn't glue it or anything like that. And I think that's why we're not really seeing much of a close-up of their heads, because, yeah, GH is saying the horns be wobbling. Yeah, because they're obviously not stapled. As they did in the movie Scrooge, he wanted to staple the little antlers to the mice heads. So, yeah, so I kind of glanced over the beginning, narration, the words that were coming on the screen, which would have wrapped up the whole story. It's just a generic story of love, light and dark, but it did explain the unicorn's place in the universe. In the universe, that's why the bad guys are after him.
Did you do any research into the book this is based off of?
No, did not know it was based on a book.
Yeah, I didn't get around to that either. But the author, looks to have a Scandinavian name, so it may be somewhere Norwegian but I didn't take the time to get into all that. So, but yeah, the author's named in the credits.
Pretty cool. Yeah, it seems like a lot of movies that we've been watching are based on books. All right, well, now the story is, we're getting into the meat and potatoes that is going to drive this story forward. When this came out, I think Gene Siskel gave it 1 out of 4 stars. Roger Ebert, I think, was a little more generous and gave it like 1.5. It was not widely regarded by the critics. I can understand it. The acting is, pretty much what we would expect from these young ingenue players. The The story, I think, is solid. The filming is pretty solid. My impression, though, of the editing was I didn't expect such bad editing in a Ridley Scott movie because he had already done, I could even pull up his filmography. Yeah, do you guys know Ridley Scott's track record up until this point? Rob Bottin certainly, but his main focus was the makeup of The Darkness. I don't
Yeah,
think Ridley Scott had a hand in the editing, but the editing is at best amateurish. And I don't know if it slows the movie down, but you can still follow the movie. It still has a very coherent plot. It still goes A, B, C, D, and all the way down the line. You can still follow it.
yeah,
It's just not as tight, right?
I think it suffers. I think there's a lot of studio interference. There was, especially because the tail, and if you go to the director's cut, this was supposed to be a very, dark, more, actual Brother Grimm's fairy tale, which are very dark in nature.
Yeah.
And it got hit with, no, we don't like it this way. Make it a generic, movie fairy tale. And then it gets hit by the critics and audience going, it's like, well, that was just a boring, generic, movie fairy tale. Do something
Right.
different.
Yeah, and it really is it's a good movie. It had the potential to be an excellent movie. I kind of liken this as a cross between Labyrinth, Willow, and something else I can't quite put my finger on. But visually, this is a stunning movie, and I'll give it props.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's
So
why I was seeing that comparison as well to Labyrinth, especially where you've got the like the older, or actually ancient eternal being, going after the young innocent girl.
right. Yep. So Calbot points out Alien, Blade Runner, solid movies. And yeah, it's I can't fault the direction. This is a very solid movie. But it could have been so much more. But hey, let's enjoy it. G.H. Zoder, good point. Ridley Scott, without any oversight, isn't exactly a genius.
I was going to say some of the scenes now. Yeah, just when you want to say what else does this movie remind me of, I said it has elements of Time Bandits.
Oh, yeah. There you go. It's like it has elements from all these other movies. Labyrinth, I don't think had come out yet. I don't think Willow had come out yet.
No, Willow's after this.
Willow's after this by a couple years. Labyrinth was, I think, the year after. So yeah, the vision of this movie, I think, is pretty solid. Okay, who was okay, Mr. Furzel, any lore connected to unicorn blood? Does this flick use it? No, I don't think there's any lore connecting the unicorn blood. It's actually this movie is revolving around the unicorn horn, the one that yeah. So we've got one unicorn down, and the other one ran off.
Yeah, now we've got the introduction here to the pixie fairy, the little creature of light.
Yep.
I can't get away from now the Peter Pan Tinkerbell.
Exactly. It borrows a little bit from that. And her name is Una. That's her character name. And then this little, they're like forest imps. This little guy, I guess. Forest child.
Yeah, I keep want to say how they got this little kid to be in this movie, but he's 18 years old.
Yes.
The actor is 18.
And he is another one of those actors, and you have seen him before. David Bennett. Anybody want to look him up? Does that name sound familiar? And the way they film this makes him look so tiny, but I don't think he's tiny. I think he's just a regular sized person, and the way they film it makes it seem like he's just a tiny little kid. Oh, Miss Swift, that is from is that Village of the Damned? That's not the original, right? That's the remake. Or no, is that Children of the Corn? If anybody's on Discord, take a look at what Miss Swift posted. Yes, it's that same.
I'm just seeing that's the prequel of the creepy preacher man from Poltergeist 2.
Yeah, he grows up to be that creepy guy in Poltergeist. You're all gonna die. Yep, so David Bennett plays Gump, not to be confused with Forrest Gump.
Or Andy Gump.
That's right. Okay. All right, David Bennett. Oh, well, here you go. David Bennett is 5'1". Tom Cruise, I think, pushes 5'4", maybe 5'5".
Yes, but
all right,
how
so David,
how tall is Tom Cruise when he man squats?
4'4",
Yeah,
maybe.
match the height of Billy Barty.
Oh, they say Tom Cruise is 5'7". Okay. All right. Yep, Cowbot. That little kid is from Children of the Corn. Yep, and he's playing a little forest imp.
Yeah. It's also now I'm looking at if this is obviously on the sound stage, but what are they using for snow? Have we passed the era of that's all asbestos?
Oh, back in the 80s, would there have been oversight? Yeah, anybody know offhand? Because there is a lot of it in these scenes, and it's almost distracting because of how much. Some of the other scenes in the forest, you're seeing a lot of dust, dander, whatever it is, and it fills the sky so much that you almost can't see the movie behind it. Cowbot is saying they use potato flakes in It's a Wonderful Life. Ooh, I don't know if that would be any better because potato flakes, when they get wet.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Ooh. Okay, let's see what was used for this movie in particular. I had been doing research on the Game of Thrones. There's that documentary about the last couple episodes that were made of Game of Thrones. And the winter scenes, that was done with paper. And it made it look like snow. But you would have to get something that...
So usually cheap and easy.
Mm-hmm. Aha! Okay, so according to my source in Google AI, largely created using a paper-based cellulose product called Snow Cell, mixed with a dense blend of other physical set design tricks like soap bubbles and glitter. Oh, try getting
Yeah,
that out of your hair and out of the scenery.
yeah. There is a lot of glitter in this movie. Later on, we'll see a lot of
A
glitter.
lot. But you're right, this has a glittery appearance. Oh, yeah, Miss Swift is saying at least it's not sawdust based anymore. Oof.
Yeah, that's all I remember. Yeah, from my time as an extra working in the movies, and I never had to do it myself. But they said anytime you see somebody enjoying a nice big bowl of ice cream, they're eating mashed potatoes because
Yeah,
ice cream doesn't stand up under the studio lights.
yep, I had heard that. Yeah, and that way that it'll sit on the table for hours and hours and look like ice cream for hours and days. Oh, here. Now we're going on a tangent. Here's a topic that came up. 8 classic movies that use toxic asbestos. Oh, these have got to be movies from the golden age, 30s, 40s, 50s. Wizard of Oz used asbestos in its set pieces. Citizen Kane did. Holiday Inn, It's a Wonderful Life.
That was
Combination of materials include foamite from fire extinguishers, soap, water, and sugar.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was still in my personal experience because I had water damage and the water damage was minor. It was because they had to rip out all my floors because my house was built in the 80s. All the tile had asbestos.
Yep, and
Spent about $30,000 ripping out all my floors.
yep, lead based paints, asbestos in houses. You know, things have come a long way. Okay, so for those of you watching the director's cut, we are about 34 minutes in, and
Yep. So
Una
Jack,
is leading Jack. Um,
yep, Jack is fighting. He just found his armor.
yep, like the golden armor that he will wear. It looks like a little skirt on him. Where are you guys in the director's cut?
That if we're just meeting, yeah, saying we're just meeting the Una and the gang. So a
Yeah,
bit behind.
and Una in her little pixie form. Pixies, according to the lore that I'm familiar with, pixies are nasty as well. They're not friendly little fireflies coming to help you. They're nasty little pricks, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, Swift is saying now my copy is just getting to the introduction of Gump, Una, and the gang. Okay, that was just like two or three scenes before. So, Cowbot, where's that from? Una O'Connor, um, in a black and white movie. O'Connor. She's an Irish actress. Why is she familiar?
It just looks like every town person and every it's the one trying to tell everybody, hey, don't go in there, don't eat this, don't unwrap that
Yep.
object, don't do it, don't do it, and they do it.
Yep. Yep. She is a Irish-born actress born in 1880 and died in 1959. Boy, she's got quite the resume.
You know, when we got this these goblins too, it's still I try to figure out, what's a goblin, what's a troll, what's an elf. But now it's like, but one of them's a pig. So, what is,
Um, yeah. So what's the difference between a goblin, a troll? Um,
you can have gnomes, brownies, pixies.
yeah. So they really put the time and money into Blix's ensemble. The pig guy, I'm sure he has a name. Pox, that's his name.
Yeah.
Pox. Um, it's more of a simple costume. And if you've watched enough movies like I have, you can tell that it's like a one-piece headdress. So every time his mouth moves, you can see the mask move.
And here they're getting away with darkness just shows up because we just have to go by that they're calling him, the big D, because they didn't put the costume on. There's nothing in this scene. They go, oh yeah, that's darkness.
And they are just scared shitless. Oh, thank you, Calbot. Okay, so Una O'Connor, she's the one who screams annoyingly in Bride of Frankenstein in 35. She's also screaming in The Invisible Man in 33. Nice. That's a good question, Johnny Devick. Did this come around Return of Oz? That is a very good question. When we look at a movie like this, or at least when I do, and you're looking at how they design the set, how they do the cinematography, and the costume design, I like to look at the movies that were around this time, the tools of the trade that they had at the time, because it dictates a lot about what they could do and how they could stretch their budget. This movie just feels to me like they've borrowed from all these other movies that have come after it. So this existed at a place in time that it had to borrow from a bunch of movies up until that time. And I wonder, Return to Oz, yes, 1985 as well.
Now we have here the scene where the weapon of choice is a frying pan. So who did it first? Because you think of a frying pan, most recently that will bring up a Tangled weapon of choice being a frying pan, but here we see it here in 85. So how far back? How far back does the frying pan as a weapon go?
Yeah, it works well as a shield. At least he's got to do something. Okay, this character's name is Brown Tom, played by Cork Hubbard, who I think passed away about 20 years ago. But he is a very recognizable actor. You will recognize him by his voice and some of the other roles that he was in. So all of these little creatures have their own specific makeup and prosthetics that makes them unique and really fun to watch.
Now I'm kind of wondering who did the makeup for Gwildor when Billy Barty was Gwildor in the early Masters of the Universe movie with Dolph Lundgren, because that looks very similar to this makeup.
Oh, does anybody know offhand? I could have sworn that arrow went right through his head, but he must have been wearing a very tall hat.
That's where he kept his bottle of booze under his hat. That's what the shattered glass was.
That's what it is. Okay, so now Lily is completely gone, right? Now they're on another journey. They're on a journey to save Lily, to save civilization, to save the universe.
That's like where I'm going with. Yeah, I've got I had 3 questions for the audience. Is like, who is your favorite, depiction of the devil in movies and other literature? What's your favorite depiction of a unicorn? And the third question I had, is there anybody who's rooting for Tom Cruise in this movie?
No. Yeah, anybody rooting for Tom Cruise at this point to win? Yeah, that is a very good question, because you had posted in Discord a lot of representations of unicorns in movies. There's not many. Although, did you put Clash of the Titans, which I believe came out in 81? They also had a unicorn.
No, see, that's the first thing too. That's when I was thinking, like, what has a unicorn in it? And right away comes Clash of the Titans, but that's a Pegasus, not a unicorn.
Oh, that's just a Pegasus. Oh, you are right.
But I would think that would snap to a lot of, because even when I was thinking like unicorn, I'm going like I couldn't think of many offhand right away.
Yeah,
so everyone knows what a
Pegasus
unicorn
has wings.
is.
Unicorn has the horn.
Pegasus has wings,
Yeah.
and sometimes they have both.
What's it called when they have both?
I think that's mentioned in this movie. I think there was like an alicorn, something. But we also have got to pause for a moment for my buddy Robert Picardo playing Meg Mucklebones here. He's not.
She is frightening, and she's made to be frightening.
Yeah, and I don't know, who, because Robert Picardo in his early days was just the guy in the suit, and who he's associated with. I know it with Joe Dante, because he did all the work in the movie Explorers. Robert Picardo was the alien in the aliens costumes, and shows up in Total Recall as he's Johnny Cab. So did a lot of guy in the suit stuff. And then it's funny because when he gets to Star Trek, he appears as himself, and everybody else is the guy in the suit, where he's like, yeah, I ain't doing that anymore.
Well, but you had posted a lot of his performances where he is made up. You're not necessarily going to recognize him, but he does have a very distinctive voice. So in Johnny Cab, they crafted the Johnny Cab driver from his likeness, but it is definitely his voice.
Mm-hmm. And we get him in Inner Space as Cowboy. It's just another one of those guys that shows up quite a bit.
Those guys.
Yeah, like your sister mentioning, the Doug Jones of his time. Yep, Doug Jones is now guy in suit.
Okay, well, Miss Swift is saying, I think she's answering your question. So for Best Devil, Peter Cook. So the last unicorn for best the favorite representation of a unicorn? And what was the third question? Are we rooting for Tom Cruise?
Yeah, is anybody rooting for Tom Cruise to be the champion of this movie?
I'm rooting for the unicorn. Oh, I'm just rooting for all these little creature guys to win. So they're very good questions. If we want to dive deep into the representation of the devil / Satan / demons, if you want to do a broad approach to the representation of movies, we have thousands to choose from. I think some of the more interesting representations of that are not so obvious, because the famous saying, the best trick that Satan has ever pulled is to basically make it seem like he doesn't exist, hide his true nature.
Yeah, I didn't know how far to go back, because I was also remembering the George Burns when he played in Oh God, when he was God, and then the sequel, Oh God, You Devil, where he's both God and the devil.
Oh, that's right. I remember those movies. The first one had John Denver in it. That was from, I think, the mid-'70s. in Oh God Book 2, I think that came out in 79 or 80, if I'm not mistaken. And that was his presentation as God. So, yeah, we've got God and the devil represented in so many different ways, too many ways to count. But wow, yeah, we could do like a deep dive in that. And now, so this movie is switching gears now. We are like in the heart of darkness, right? We are in his lair, and they're trying to save Lily. I think they're trying to save the unicorn as well.
Yeah, it's funny. Like it keeps shifting tones because we just had them,
Cave.
stumble into this dungeon as they slid down the tunnels where it looked like Goonies, but now they're all being threatened to be eaten by these cannibal monsters. So we're just constantly shifting tones in this movie.
And the music is very engaging. The soundtrack is. I love the soundtrack. I love the tone that it sets. But I personally feel like this movie would have benefited more from toning that back a little bit and using a lot more of the set noises and really put us into this environment. But yeah, that would be an interesting thing to just listen to the soundtrack apart from this movie. And Miss Swift is saying the director's cut is getting to the armor cave. All right, so we are
I was
just
going
a
to say
little bit ahead.
we seem to be light years ahead, but it could only be
Just a
maybe
little bit.
20
Just a
minutes.
little bit.
Yep. Thank you, Calbot.
Um,
Posting the "Oh God, You Devil" poster.
Oh God, you devil! I have not seen that one, but he plays the God. He plays God and the devil. That might be fun. Miss Swift just say, "Hey, did someone say The Hobbit?" It's got a little touch of The Hobbit in this as well. A little influence of The Hobbit.
That would still be coming influence from the Ralph Bakshi animated Hobbit movie.
Yeah, which came out
No, still 70s.
late 70s.
I think mid 70s. Not quite sure where I place it. Gotta get my other ones, get out Wizard and all those other bizarre animated movies from the 70s. Get my Fritz the Cat DVD going.
Oh. Oh yeah, we have a lot of animated, really serious animated movies from the 70s. I'm thinking of Watership Down. I think that was in the
Yep.
70s, 78.
70, yeah, somebody was looking, they were watching, going through some of the 70 movies, and I'm going like, yeah, the 70s was a lot of gloom and doom and apocalypse, and the world is over. We're done. Get
Yeah.
used to it. And here 50 years later, we're still waiting.
Yep. And now we're getting to see a lot of glitter. Una is just coated in glitter. She's not very sweet, not very innocent. I think we're kind of seeing that she's really not innocent, but she's not really evil as well.
Oh, we're still here with Gump blaming Jack for, he goes, all she wanted was a kiss. You should have given it to her, you moron.
Yeah. I mean, how hard would that have been? Oh, hey, Sith Sister, he jumped over onto YouTube. Sith Sister, hey, don't insult Kroll like that. It might be flawed, but it's better than this. Have we done Kroll as a watch party? I am feeling like we have. If not, we have to.
Yeah, it's not. That's the other one, Kroll, where I can't remember if I have have that on DVD or if I mix it up with the Kevin Sorbo movie Cull. There's just one letter difference.
Yeah, can anybody remember, have we done Kroll? I'm gonna have to research it in my notes. Yeah, Johnny Devick, I think we have. Yeah, I'll dig deep. It feels like we have or we should have. If not, we will be doing that.
And I think, yeah, I'm remembering because that was like early Liam Neeson movie. Liam Neeson's in it.
Mm-hmm.
I can remember making some of those jokes, doing my research.
Johnny Devick, did we do Legend of Orion? No.
Oh, is that the Star Chaser movie? I'm trying to remember.
I'm gonna write that down so I don't forget.
Yeah, Legend of Orion is the subtitle of. Is that Star Chaser? Now I got to.
Yep, Star Chaser: The Legend of Orion.
Okay, because that's an animated movie. An animated movie I saw because that was like also I think 3D. So I can remember that seeing that back in the 80s. But an early animated 3D movie.
It was originally released in 3D. Is that the one? That sounds kind of interesting.
And that would be like. Okay, yeah, I think we're getting things mixed up then. Maybe.
Okay. Yeah, Miss Swift, Lily's saying she's sorry reminds me of Heather from the Blair Witch Project. Yeah, Lily is screwing up and she's paying the price for it. She might be sorry. We'll wait and see. I don't want to give away too much. But we'll see if she gets out of this movie. Oh, yeah, Miss Swift, Liam Neeson, Robbie Coltrane. I think.
Yeah,
I think we've seen Kroll, but not Legend of Orion.
Yeah, I was gonna say if it is the Star Chaser 3D movie, I don't have it on DVD or video, but if I dig through my stuff, I think I still have the 3D glasses for that movie.
I seem to recall in the 80s they went through a 3D phase.
I'm not confusing it with Star Hunter. I know what that one is. That's in Star Hunter's live action with Ernie Hudson and Molly Ringwald and Michael Ironside. I'm very familiar with that one. So that's
yes, and that's the one we have done. Star Hunter is we have done that.
Yeah.
Isn't it great? There are so many movies from the 70s and 80s. We get them confused. There's so many movies to revisit. So is Jack turning into some kind of hero now? He's on like a hero's quest with his minions, his band of minions.
This one, yeah. Apologies for people watching the director's cut, so I'm going to spoil, or maybe not spoil, but all these demon beasties that jump out of the woodworks and they just shut the door. It's like, wow, how'd you guys defeat them? And it was like super easy, barely an inconvenience.
Pretty much. So we're going to be
just shut the door.
Yep, we're going to be way ahead of the director's cut. Unless you guys with the director's cut want to jump ahead, but then you're going to miss a lot. Mm-hmm. So we'll wing it. We've done it before.
Either that, I'm saying the movie's about to start because here comes Tim Curry. Maybe we should pause and let them catch up.
Yeah, I mean that's really where the heart and soul of the movie kicks in is when Tim Curry, because when he comes on screen, he just fills the screen and he encompasses the story and just brings you in. Okay, so GH is saying right now Jack is facing Meg the Sea Witch. That's not too far ahead. I think we're only 5-10 minutes ahead. not too bad. But I think it's later on where it's going to be a noticeable jump. Oh, Johnny Devitt, we should see the German remake OG Nosferatu sometimes. Huh. German version. I'm not surprised that such a movie exists. I've just never heard of it. All right. Quick search. All right, let's just make sure Nosferatu the Vampire. 2000 generally refers to either the original. Okay, are you referring to the 1922? There's a 1979 German remake, Werner Herzog. Oh, wow. There's a 1979, 2014. Yeah, Miss Swift, Meg Mucklebone scene. They had to strap him to a board for the rising effect. The suit was heavy and soaked up water, nearly drowned, left him under too long. Yep, one of the dangers of that big foam, I think it was just big foam latex is what they used in the day, because foam was light and it could give them the effect they wanted, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Miss Swift pointed out, the Pazuzu statue, where it's like, I'm not sure if that's the actual prop or something that just looked like it, or something that they went ahead and designed one just to sneak one in there. But yeah, the trivia says, there's a statue of Pazuzu in this scene here.
This
Seems
is
like, one of the Easter eggs any set designer would have tried to sneak in.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of which, the budget for this movie, probably 90, I'm guessing 90% of it, 80% of it went to the effects department. Budget back in the day was $25 million. Box office was very lackluster. Didn't even make its money back. And all right, for all of you that want to put your brain working, this was released, interestingly enough, April 18th, 1986 in the United States. It had to have been because I was still in high school at the time. But this movie is credited with being 1985, but that's because it got its release in Venice and France in 1985 and then came to the States in 86.
Yeah, because that's where I'm thinking too, because if I had seen an early test screening, because I remember seeing it with my friends from high school, but I even graduated in 84, so I'm not sure when I would have seen an early test screening.
Boy, you'd have to go back to the mid 80s. I mean, I got a lot of memories from my high school days, but yeah, we're talking a long time ago.
Yeah. There's still like movies from the 90s that I'm like, oh, I remember that this was me and my friends from high school watched this so many times, and we're like, it's impossible. That was high school was the 80s, and this is from the 90s. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's just all thrown into the blender of my memories of I don't know. I don't remember how I saw this or not.
Yes, GH Zoner saying it had a killer poster. Yeah, it had so much going for it. it really should have and could have been a lot more successful than it was.
Yeah, I don't think
Um,
I don't think this movie benefits from any of star status from Tom Cruise, and
no.
even Tom Cruise himself is saying he's not happy with this movie and would forget that he's in it.
Right, because this was Tom Cruise was not the big draw. The big draw for this movie was Tim Curry, and now he's making his grand entrance in full makeup. We get to see his big transformation into darkness. This
I said
is
that. Yeah, Miss Swift
intense.
posting Metal Storm. I go get me a shot of Megaforce while you're at it.
Well, I love the idea that they put so much into his costume alone. They really did give him a lot of screen time. And I'm very curious for those of you watching the director's cut, did they emphasize that extra time on his character as well? I think anything else would have just been filler for a story that's pretty simple. It's doesn't need a
Yeah,
whole big, extra 30 minutes to delve deep into this story.
yeah. Like I said, until we get this final battle with darkness, yeah, the whole first hour of this movie is just filler.
But you know what? Remember back in the 80s, it was so much fun to watch movies like this that were fantasy oriented, could take us out of our real life existence and just transport us to a different time, a different place. And we get to see this is true movie magic of the 80s. Very well done. At the height of the practical effect era. Okay, so Miss Swift, he hasn't shown up yet in full light. Yeah, because you're probably still a little bit behind. Yeah, GH, we have not seen him fully yet. All right. But
Yeah,
we do see Lily has been turned.
is it turn to the dark side?
She, by all appearances, she's turned to the dark side. It's a pretty good makeup job for her.
That's also a thank you for like all the fans of or the pop culture we get from this movie is all the cosplay of that dress. It's like the Princess Leia in bikini moment at Comic-Con.
Yeah. That was all the rage back in the day when we got to see Princess Leia in a bikini.
Yep. No, yeah, you posted that photo there from Neverending Story. But you got to give her a name, Mr. Frizzle, and it isn't Una. And if we're
It's
gonna
a
get,
different actress, I think.
yeah, that's not the same. I said when we do get Una from this movie, we'd only get that again confused with the Una, the dancing slave girl from Jabba the Hutt, Return of the Jedi. If that was Una or Ula.
Yeah. So yeah, in the Never Ending Story that came out a year prior to this. Played by, how do you pronounce her name? Tammy Stronach. All right, well, this movie is just rolling along. We have about 24 minutes, and we really are getting heavy into the plot, right? Into the resolution. We're starting to see how these little, what do you call them? Little elves? Yeah, the little elves and gnomes and gimps.
You want to go? Yeah,
Whatever
you
you
want to
call
go with?
them.
Because it looks like Gump with pointed ears would be the elf, but if they're not gnomes or dwarves, and if they are indeed elves, then they look like Christmas elves. So or
Right.
Keebler
Or trolls.
or
Little
Trolls.
troll here and there mixed in. Um, but yeah, I mean, this movie just kind of rolls along. And yeah, there is mention um, that so their American theatrical version is what we're watching. The director's cut is going to have a totally different ending. And then the European theatrical version has a different ending as well.
Yeah, this is another one I'd have to look up because then they talk about the TV edit. So I'm kind of curious now if I ever, because I recorded a lot of stuff back in the day,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know if it would have been the TV edit or if I'm watching like an early, like Showtime or Cinemax, cable version of things I would have recorded. So that's always
Yeah, back in
curious
the
when I
heyday
find, yeah, when I
VCR.
find those lost treasures. There's like the famous like TV edit of Dune, which is like padded for runtime. It's like they have to increase the runtime to fill 2 hours, but then they have to cut everything out to put in commercials. So those are always interesting when they did the TV edits.
Yeah, because they tend to cut out the most enjoyable action scenes, the gore, and put in other stuff because they do have to put in commercials and make it watchable for kids and stuff. I wonder, I'm having a mini flashback to the movie Clash of the Titans. Um, there, you see a lot of the shields or the big round plates they're using. They're generally shields. It looks like the same type that was used in the movie Clash of the Titans from '81 that starred Harry Hamlin. I think Sir Laurence Olivier was in that as well. I think he played Zeus.
Yeah,
Burgess Meredith was in it.
yeah, you've got a lot of
Who else?
of classical big name actors playing all the Greek gods.
Yeah.
Who was the one who played? Now I lost everything. In Harry Potter, the Professor McGonagall. That actor.
Maggie Smith.
Yeah, she's in
Yep.
Clash of the Titans.
Yep, she is. Yes. Yep, I saw that in the theater. It was rather enjoyable. And again, that was full of special effects. And for a little kid, I was probably 11 or 12. It was magical.
Hmm. Yeah, that's one of the final Harryhausen effects movies, and I've got a ton of those. Yeah, all the Sinbads and
Yeah,
Jason and the
Sinbad.
Argonauts, and yeah, I've got a huge collection of the Harryhausen movies, and a lot of statues and
Um, yeah, GH, Mia in that burned dress. It's an interesting look. Yep. And so Darkness is now trying to woo her. Um, yeah, interesting. So these
yeah, I was going to say,
effects,
yeah, it's looking a lot of when we're talking about innocence and demonic, who they
mhm.
keep flipping. It's like because she's turning the tables on him, and he's just being an innocent, like, oh yeah, let's do your way. That sounds fun. So kind of an
Yeah,
interesting dynamic going on here.
he's not, it is interesting because he's not really acting like the Lord Supreme Darkness,
Like,
hail me, I'm
yeah,
I'm the ultimate evil.
he's
He's
coming off.
softened.
he's coming off as just a force of nature. It's
Yeah.
not the twisted, sadistic, you know, human behavior. It's just he's just a
Right.
force of nature.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. GH, interesting is not the word I had in mind. Yeah. It's an interesting look for her, isn't it? Because then in Ferris Bueller, she plays just a very innocent teenager. Um, Ferris Bueller came out what, the year after?
Yeah,
Or
she swims around in her underwear. What do you know? It's not that.
Ferris Bueller. Yep, Ferris Bueller came out in '86.
And then I know mostly with Mia Sarah, there's later, I think 10 years, almost 10 years after this, I think Time Cop, using with the wife of John Claude Van Damme and Time Cop.
Yep, about 10 years later. Yeah, she's got quite a repertoire, and then she just disappeared. I think she gave up and just became like a normal working person. So now we're getting a lot of we're seeing the full effect of the makeup and effects on Tim Curry. It's interesting because you can kind of see how they did his face. It's not just one big piece. You can see the divide in the face pieces. But I would venture to say that a lot of his eye is his real eye. They couldn't have gotten too close to his eyes with the prosthetics. Am I wrong? What do you guys think?
Well, he'd have to be wearing contact lenses because he has like the
Right.
cat eyes. So, and those are
Right,
going to
but
be,
you can see the face piece just went around his eyes, but I think all of that inside is just makeup.
yeah. And they did read in the trivia telling, yeah, it's like after one night he got really claustrophobic about the makeup and just started tearing off the prosthetic
Yeah.
pieces, ripping his skin off, which they had to then, another pause in production waiting for him to heal up.
Yeah, I cannot imagine. And that's probably one of the reasons why when Jim Carrey took on the role of the Grinch, that they very astutely put Jim Carrey through some training to deal with being in that kind of suit. And he had to train for what seemed like torture training, but they had to make sure he could endure it. That can't be fun. Johnny Devick. I had my students remake the police station scene from Ferris Bueller last month. That is a fun scene. I take it you mean the one with Charlie Sheen and what's the actress's name?
Jennifer Grey.
Jennifer Grey, where they have that really intense dialogue. Yeah, that's a cool scene. Yeah, and I think if memory serves, Charlie Sheen was in just that one scene, and it was pivotal to her character's development, insight, growth.
Let's say, like, of the time, it seems like maybe they just filmed it in a real police station, and Charlie Sheen just happened to be getting arrested. That's why he's in the movie.
He just happened to be there, and they put a camera in his face. This really is, I mean, I can't speak highly enough of Tim Curry's metamorphosis into this character. It is so believable. If you didn't know it was Tim Curry, you would not be able to place him, although you can still tell from his voice. It's just kind of digitized a little bit. But yeah, he does a great job.
Yeah, and this is interesting, because this movie is now 10 years older than Rocky Horror.
Mm.
So still kind of see what, yeah, everyone, it's like, yeah, it's like when people say Tim Curry, what's the
Wow.
first character comes to mind? And I still like that, and I still like it. He did excellent job in the Muppets Treasure Island. Long John
Oh,
Silver.
yes. He's got he's got a reputation of playing a whole bunch of different characters. He can play anything, any genre, in any tone that the director sets. I think Tim Curry can pull it off. Yeah, G.H. Soner saying, goth Mia. She really is goth, and we're almost believing that her character has turned to the dark side. And I don't want to give away anything for those of you watching the director's cut that are a little behind. But yeah, you're going to get to this scene. Jack believes in Lily. He really does. And that she won't turn evil.
That's an impressive run that they do with him charging at Jack, and considering the weight of the prosthetics, that's an amazing stunt.
I think the reported weight of that headdress alone, yeah, you can kind of see it wobbling in his head. So it looks like it doesn't have much weight, but it was reportedly upwards of 80 pounds on his head, his like entire head prosthetic. If so, that would give him
Yeah, and it's
a
not the
lot.
standard. Yeah, it's not the standard design where you've got devil horns
Right.
sticking straight up out of the head. You've got, like more of the, the bull horns leaning forward. So that's got to be a lot of weight.
Right. So
Stress on your neck.
he would have had to have such strength in his neck and his head and his body to move this way.
Yeah, they mentioned too, like, yeah, there's a big harness attached to it to
Well,
keep him
there
from
would
tipping
have to
over.
be, I guess. Yeah. Oh, Miss Swift, we've just got full frontal darkness in the director's cut. Like with no clothes on? Boy, that might be pushing it a little bit.
Yep. There's Calbot, yep, posting David Warner is the devil from Time Bandits.
Oh, yeah, there you go, Calbot. Almost didn't recognize that.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember his character. I think is just Supreme Evil. I think is just his character.
We never did Time Bandits, did we?
I don't believe we had.
Oh, that would be a fun one. Time Bandits, yeah, that's on so many lists.
And now it's like, yeah, I have to spoil the movie for those who aren't at the scene. But yeah, this solution to the problem and all it's like all I got is from the Fifth Element is Aziz light.
This is the same trick that they used in the movie The Mummy. And it just directs the light.
Yeah. Did they do this in National Treasure, or was that lighting oil?
Oh boy, I can't remember. It's been so long since I've seen that.
I think they just light a trough of oil. Or was that also The Mummy?
Yeah, I don't think they did it in National Treasure. I think they just opened the room up, right? Or they found it. But yeah, I'd have to revisit that movie again. Okay, GH is saying yes. Is that what they did in National Treasure as well? So the secret of the darkness's power is he has to kill both unicorns and then he would just reign supreme and it would just be darkness all the time, right?
Yes.
And so the significance of the unicorn horn in his possession would mean basically that the unicorn was dead.
Yep. Yes.
Oh, GH, you were answering Swifty's question. Okay.
Yep. Difficult to understand how we're ending this movie if it's supposed to be meant. Are they turning back time? Was it all a dream?
No. From what I gather, correct me if I'm wrong, but they put an end to darkness. They sent him out into the nether regions. And so Jack has the unicorn horn. So in this legendary, magical, mystical world, he can save everybody, right? So as long as the darkness is gone, then he can make everything right. I don't think there's like turning back the clock or anything. But yeah, there's a lot of magic going on. And now I'm guessing that because you could just put the unicorn horn back on the unicorn, that the unicorn wasn't actually dead. But according to the story, the unicorn was dead, and now it's coming back to life. And I don't want to give anything away. But you know what? For those of you who are watching the director's cut, we have another half hour. If you guys all want to join, we can. I'll stay here for the half hour, and we can finish up because it just seems like we'd be cutting you off, and you haven't reached the end of your movie. Because I do want to know what additional info was put in.
Yeah, and I can't. Yeah, how many times? Even though I own the DVD, so I have both theatrical and directors. I can't remember the ending, so I'm not even sure if I've even watched the director's cut.
So all is well, and it was the stallion that was killed, right? Or the unicorn that died.
Right.
That was the stallion, right?
They killed the stallion and then they captured the mare.
Gotcha. So it almost mirrors that they have the unicorns have a happy ending, and then Jack and Lily are supposed to have their happy ending. And this is the scene, guys, where all of that dust and dander and stuff floating around is almost a distraction. There's like too much in the air. But I almost don't know how they could have, they can't edit it out.
Yep. And then we almost get the kind of, that was almost that little end scene there that leads us to believe it's not over. There's another story coming. But that's almost what would have been placed as an end credit scene. So it's giving me the watch till the end credits to watch to know Skeletor is still alive at the end of He-Man. Spoilers, don't tell anybody.
Yeah, so that's it, man. So our version is done, and we had that little overlay of darkness at the very end, which you're right, it gave the impression that it's not over. And yeah, he's still alive. But we never did get a sequel, right? Never did get a sequel of this. I don't think there was ever a talk of a sequel in the mix. it probably was not popular enough. All right. Well, all right. So, who's watching the director's cut? Do we have two of you watching the director's cut? And so we probably have like
20 to 30 minutes.
20 to 30 minutes. I will hang with you guys. Let's and no one is under any obligation to stay. But I would like to get your guys' input on this director's cut. Okay, so GH and Swift just finished the kitchen fight. Jack and his friends just triumphed in the kitchen. That's not too far. Sith Sister. Oh boy, I forgot how hard of a watch the theatrical cut was. The director's cut is far better than this mess. And if it had done a better job with the editing, that would have made all the difference. Okay, so Wife's Cheese rating. Legend is an epic dark fantasy film that is a visually stunning fairy tale. This fantasy story is like brunost, cheese caramelized into a deep brown hue, and delivers a rich, sweet, fudge-like or caramel-like flavor. This is a legendary, almost mythical status in Norwegian culture, similar to the folklore that underpins the world of Ridley Scott's Legend. Bravo! Very well said. Mr. Furzel loves burnt cheese. I do too. That is a great commentary, sister. I love that cheese rating. Oh yeah, Calbot. Thanks, Sharon, Matt, and Chad. I have to bail for an in real life family thing. Yeah, by all means, Calbot. Thank you so much. I am going to go over June's watch parties, but I will also post, like I always do, I'll post the monthly schedule. So, Calbot, you're not going to miss a thing. So, yeah, we've got some time left in the director's cut. Oh, guys, let's discuss June. Next week is the start of June. We have 4 weeks. That is the precursor to summer. That is our introduction to summer. So the first movie next week, as an introduction, we are going to be watching The Sandlot from 1993. And I almost wish I was a child of the 90s, but I wasn't. I was a child of the 80s, but The Sandlot is good fun. We're going to have fun with this. That is June 7th. June 14th, we're going to be going to 1994 for an outdoor adventure movie called The River Wild, starring Meryl Streep, Kevin Bacon. And it is a movie when you thought it was safe to get back in the water, kind of like Jaws. It is a wild ride. On the 21st, we are going outdoors again to The Great Outdoors from 1988. Starring, who stars in that? John Candy, Dan Aykroyd. That's going to be great fun. And to round out June, now correct me if I'm wrong. I have done research to make sure we have not seen this one before. The original Horror Fest, Friday the 13th from 1980. Have we already seen that? I'm not seeing any record that we have. We have seen a couple of the sequels, but we have not seen the original. Am I wrong? If I'm wrong, and I can switch that up, but I want to end June on a horror note. So there you go. That is June.
Well, I've got my my local Comic-Con is next weekend, so I may miss out.
Ooh. Are you going? And who is going to be there? Are you going all days?
I'll probably my local cons are quite simple little affairs. You usually get everything done in a couple hours, and then you're making laps. So doing both days is might not happen. So I'm definitely be there Saturday. So Sunday's a mixed bag of what I'll be doing.
Okay.
But we've
I
got
will.
let's see, the headliners they're bringing in is no, now I'm losing everybody's name. Keith Coogan, Adventures in Babysitting. Don't tell mom the babysitter's dead.
Oh,
And
okay. That's an oldie but a goodie.
yeah, and Gigi Edgley, who played Chiana in Farscape.
Very cool.
So
And it
also,
only goes Saturday and Sunday, not Friday.
yeah, no, yeah, we're small town.
Gotcha.
Not
All right.
terribly small town, but small town.
Yeah, because I think the one that started it all, the big one that we always hear about is the San Diego Comic-Con. I think that goes for 3 days, doesn't it? If
That's
not longer.
that's got to be 4 days, 4 or 5 days now, with a lot of filler surrounding it. And I've been to San Diego once and never again. It is massive, and it's like again where there's so much to see and you don't get to see any of it. And it is now, yeah, some of the other chains, like where it's impossible to get tickets. Like tickets, the first day they go on sale, they're all scooped up by all the scalpers, and because I've had issues with some of the bigger cons where you cannot get tickets even when you're buying them a year ahead and they're sold out.
Yeah, this year it's July 23rd to 26th. Preview night is the 22nd.
Yeah,
it's probably all sold
but
out.
yeah, and then it got taken over by all the media. All the big studios thinking they're hyping everything up, so they buy all the space. So like comic book vendors, they can't get on site. I've heard horror stories where they have booked the site, but they can't get in to set up their locations because all the studios are moving in gigantic set pieces. But yeah, where you have to go off site to see some of the events. It's so huge at San Diego.
Not in San Diego. It was bad. The last time I went, no way. I would not go again. Miss Swift, Lily was just asked. She just asked to kill a unicorn. Yeah, interesting play on her part, where you think that she's turned bad and she's going to kill the unicorn, but that's where I won't give it away again.
I'm seeing that the switch up in her behavior is now for whatever reason, making me think of the is that Batman Forever with Tommy Lee Jones as Two-Face, and then you have the his I would say henchwomen, the Sugar and Spice. They got the dichotomy of Drew Barrymore, and I think the other one is played by Debbie Mazur. But that's like, where I'm getting the split personality of Lily right now. Is she good or bad? Wearing a white dress or a black dress? It's just the two white villains.
And her character doesn't play any more of a role in the director's cut. I am curious with this extra half hour, because I know the ending is different. What else is different?
I would have to see if there's more of a monologue from Tim Curry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, interesting. Well, this was a very quick hour-and-a-half movie. Really no wasted space. The pacing was fine. Editing was still so choppy. But yeah, I mean, they're not all like blockbusters. I think we're going to have some blockbusters coming up. Maybe some more contemporary movies. I can't remember the last really contemporary movie we've done. I've still been doing older movies. I think I've done one or two from the 2000s, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say thanks, Miss Swift,
Hmm.
posting the picture. But now again, when I see Debbie Mazur, that's just another going. When is Space Truckers going on the watch party list? We've talked about Space Truckers.
I think, yeah, you mentioned it a few times.
I think it was me. It's got to have been either. I'm trying to remember if it was either Dom or Andrew who was on my side. One was probably against, one was for, but somehow I think
Space
it was
Trucker.
Andrew talking about Space Truckers.
It had to have been Andrew because I think Space Trucker came out before Dawn was born.
Hmm. Yeah, Space Truckers is
Um,
Dennis Hopper, and you get George Wendt with Spears.
1996.
Yeah,
Yep. We haven't talked about that movie in a while. That'll be a fun one.
get that one, and still my stepmother is an alien. That was always talked about, never put in the mix.
There was a couple of them. Yeah, My Stepmother is an Alien. Um,
I got to put in Mom and Dad Save the World.
Mom and Dad Save the World. Oh, why do I know that movie?
That's what's his name? Jeffrey Jones, Terry Garr, John Lovitz. That's one of my favorites. It's just
Um,
bizarre, dumb movies that shouldn't exist but are fun to watch.
so yeah, how could I market My Stepmother as an Alien to you guys in a good way? Because it really is just it's bad. But it is fun bad. I have seen it in the theater like twice because I was dragged to it. Um,
Let's see, that's going to be another one. I'm pretty sure that's over here in my DVD collection. So
is it?
yep. I
it?
I love the bizarre. I love the underdogs.
It has an all-star cast. Maybe that's how I'll market it, as a movie that has everything going for it, but ended up being just blatantly bad. Like they knew it was bad. And the only way that they could have gotten the cast that they did was by telling them, look, we're playing it for the laughs. This is not a serious role. Your career might take a hit, but come on, do it anyway. Um, yeah, off the top of my head, there's Dan Aykroyd. Yeah, Kim Basinger, Mr. Frizzle. Yes. John Lovitz was in it. A baby Allison Hannigan. Yes, Miss Swift. Yep, she was just this little baby in it.
Yep,
Um,
and Seth Green. It's pairing Allison Hannigan and Seth Green before they get paired in Buffy.
was he in it? I don't
Yeah,
remember that.
yeah, he's the whatever he is to be paired up with Allison Hannigan.
Huh. Okay, I don't remember him in it because it has been a long time since I've seen it.
And if we're going to talk Seth
Yeah,
Green, then I'm going to promote Josie and the Pussycats again, so I can watch that movie.
there you go. And we're still gonna do a movie that's even worse than that. We got to do a really really bad, fun, good movie in order to riff it. We can take our pick.
Let's do The Perils of Gwendolyn.
The Perils of Gwendolyn. I've not heard of that one.
That's with Tawny Katane. That's a movie. That's a movie that I saw in theaters. That me and my friend were about the only ones that didn't walk out at some point.
Oh, jeez. Okay, but keep in mind that it has to be good enough where it is available on the streaming services, right? If it's so bad that all of the distributors and all of the studios got their hands off it and said, there's no way we're releasing this garbage,
There's got to be. That's got to show up, yeah, on a Pluto or Tubi,
Okay, yep, it is on some of the services. IMDb gave it a 5.2 out of 10. Well, that's probably being generous.
Mhm.
Okay.
That's the five. Yeah, if it's getting 5.2, that's for people watching the movie with the sound turned off.
Okay, thanks, GH.
Yep, that's got Tawny Katane and definitely earns its R rating. Just watch it with the sound off. You'll be fine.
Okay. Do we even want to read the synopsis? Probably not. Oh, okay. GH and Swift. Curry just flew out into space somehow, and we've just reached Darkness's final monologue. And I bet that hasn't changed from the theatrical. Yeah, he flew into space, which is an interesting part of the movie because I would not have figured that would be the way to get rid of him. The light that hit him, I thought would have just like blowed him up, but it sent him into space, and then what? It looks like he turned into like stars. I don't know. I think the ending was a little rushed, but that we're just supposed to see his end, and Jack defeats him. The light defeats the darkness, but as the darkness did proclaim, you can't. At some point in the movie, didn't he say you can't have light without dark?
Yep.
So you have to have both.
Yep. Can't be good without evil.
Yep.
Can't
There
be
can't be
rich
good without
without
evil.
poor.
It doesn't work, and you can't have a world of just one or the other.
You got to
You
now.
gotta
I'm
have both.
trying to get all the wisdom of the Seinfeld episode where they talk about the black and white cookies.
The black and white cookies. A whole episode devoted to a big giant cookie, half black, half white icing. And I think they really do make those cookies too.
Yep.
Yeah, Miss Swift, you can never truly get rid of darkness because you can't have light without dark. Absolutely. You can't have good without evil. They just don't exist without one another. Yeah, Mr. Furzel, over there in Discord. Yep, even in the Star Wars universe, you never truly got rid of the darkness, the bad, the Emperor. You never really truly get rid of it. You can put it at bay for a while, but you do need both.
There we go. So there is hope that we'll finally get a sequel to Legend because somehow darkness returns, just like Palpatine. They'll find a way.
Yeah, and a sequel was never produced for Legend, and I think because it didn't do well, Ridley Scott went on to do bigger and better things, and Rob Bottin was active until I think he retired in the early 2000s, right? And he had his illustrious career. Yeah. So I do have the difference in the director's cut ending from the theatrical version. And it had more to do with the wrapping up Lily and Jack's story, like gave them a more realistic ending, I think.
Yeah, we don't get the happily ever after.
Right. We don't necessarily get the happily ever after than we did in the theatrical, which just wrapped up and they like walked off into the sunset. Yeah, GH Cruise went on to bigger and better things. Nobody wanted to go back and do a sequel to Legend. Would it have benefited from more CGI effects, a bigger budget CGI effects? Maybe.
Without a story, you just got another CGI fest.
Yeah, without a solid story, CGI is the term that comes to mind is boring. Any kind of effect without a story, without good writing, good acting is boring.
So
GH, I feel like he and Sarah both needed a palate cleanser after this one. Yeah, it put them on the map. It kept them working in the industry so then they could get their major breakout roles, which they are still known for today. Yeah, I mean, being in the industry as an actor, it's just you have to constantly be working in whatever projects come your way until you reach that level where you get to pick and choose.
yeah, if we're following career paths of the actors, then Jack becomes the new Darkness because Tom Cruise stays in Hollywood, and Mia Sara, left. So retired as an actor and left, and went on to live a life. I think something went on, just artistry, or I can't remember what I read where she left, but there was the same thing of to focus raising her family and get away
Yeah.
from the
I was
nasty.
reading an interesting story about Rachel Ward, and she had completely vanished. And her husband have been on their Australian ranch, turning it into a regenerative ranch, and have been doing it for decades. And she has no regrets about leaving Hollywood. So, yeah, Hollywood can chew you up and spit you out. Hey, Alex Peacock! Have I not seen you? Have you just been in the background for the movie? Welcome. Welcome. Alex
Lurking in
Peacock
the
says,
shadows.
even Lucas has said a special effect without a story is pretty boring. Yeah, it's pointless. I won't sit through it.
So it's a roller coaster ride. It's not worth the wait in line.
Right. It's boring, and I'll see it once and then never again. Very good point, Miss Swift. Budget and effects wasn't the problem. Something was missing with the story because the movie is visually good. Yes, visually speaking, and through the soundtrack, it makes for a good movie. But the story was lacking. The editing did not carry that story forward, and I think it was the editing can only work with what the footage is what the editor is presented with the footage. So if the footage isn't there, the editor can only do what he can do.
Yeah, that's what I said too, where the movie just keeps switching tone because all of a sudden it's a goofy comedy for kids, and then it's a dark, gripping,
Right.
tale of woe for the adults. So they were obviously filming things. I don't think they decided to film both at the same time. They were constantly told to shift a different direction.
Right.
And that's
And then
all
you
they
just
were
have
left
to
with
splice
edit.
it together and to make a fantasy, horror, thriller, action. So it's good. All right. It's a very solid, good movie. GH is saying, yeah, credits. You guys are watching the credits. All right. Well, that flew by too. And all right. So we're done with the director's cut and we're done with the theatrical. Big time difference, right? Normally they'll add just a few minutes here and there, tighten it up a little bit with the director's cut, but very interesting indeed. For those of you that stayed for the duration, awesome. It was been great staying here for the duration. For those of you that had to go, totally get it. We're going to pick it up next week. Well, I was going to say, if you guys did have to leave before I announced the movie, you weren't even here for this announcement. So I will be posting on YouTube and Discord for June's schedule. And yeah, this has been a blast. And I kind of wish we had done the director's cut instead. I figured the theatrical would be more universal than the director's cut, but there you go. All All right. Any final thoughts, guys? Nope.
So
Um,
what's left to say? It was
yeah, what's
legendary.
left to say? Anything? Because we'll sign off. It has been my pleasure. And given that the time zone that I'm in, I could just do this for a while. GH, thanks for coming. Shane, the newcomer. Was there a newcomer in the chat? Did I miss someone in the chat? I was hoping I didn't miss any newcomers. So yeah, Shane, if you're there, give a shout out.
That I'm liking. Yeah, I like the person. Yeah, Johnny Devick mentioning the Xena episode titled "Liar Liar," spelled Lyre as the musical instrument. I always got to give credit to the people who came up with the episode titles of both Hercules and Xena. The one I always remember just being a hilariously punny title from Hercules was titled the Centaur Mentor Journey, and all about a centaur who teaches you in your roads of life, but being a pun on sentimental journey. And all the episode titles were like that.
Yeah, interesting. All right, well, okay, so Shane was there, spoke twice about half hour ago. Was that like towards the end of the movie? Well, I apologize, Shane, if you're still here. Catch me next time. It must have just scrolled through and I must have missed it. And I try really hard not to miss any newcomers. That's my bad. All right. All right. Miss Swift was saying, I liked it. It was fun to revisit. All right. Yeah, guys, it has been a pleasure. Let's do it again next week. We're going to be here for the Sandlot, same time, same place. In the meantime, have a great week. Hope you all stay safe. GH Cash Me On It outside. Yeah, that's a gif running around. This gal that was on Dr. Phil. What the cash me out girl? I think that's what they say. All right. Thank you, Matt. It has been great having you as my
Fun as
co-host
always.
today.
Yep. Good time. Good to see everybody
Yep.
here.
And thank you guys all for joining. Have fun at Comic-Con next week, Matt, if we don't see ya. And all right, guys, take care. We'll see y'all next time.
All right. Bye-bye.